Have you ever sat in that crinkly paper gown in the doctor's office, waiting for your physical to start, and felt that little knot of anxiety tightening in your stomach? You run through a mental checklist. Did I remember to mention that weird ache in my knee? What if my blood pressure is up today? What if they find something? It's a feeling so many of us know well. We want to be proactive about our health, we truly do. But sometimes the sheer volume of information out there and the fear of the unknown can feel overwhelming. You might have even seen a scary headline pop up on your computer recently. Something about a simple 10-second test that can predict your lifespan. A recent, widely reported study found that middle-aged and older adults who were unable to stand on one leg for 10 seconds had nearly double the risk of dying within the next decade. Now, if you're anything like me, hearing that sends a jolt of panic right through you. It feels like a grim prophecy, a final exam you didn't know you had to study for. But I'm here today to tell you, with the full backing of top medical institutions, that this is not what those headlines make it out to be. It's not a crystal ball. It is, however, something far more valuable. It's a clue. It's a conversation starter. And today, we are going to cut through all of that online noise and anxiety. We're going to uncover the truth behind not just one, but two simple 30-second tests your doctor secretly wishes you'd take before you even walk into their office. Our goal today is to transform that feeling of health anxiety into a feeling of health empowerment. We're going to walk through this together, step by step. First, I'll show you exactly how to perform these two simple assessments safely in your own home. Then, and this is the most important part, we'll dive deep into what your results actually mean, according to experts from places like the Cleveland Clinic and Jefferson Health. It's not what the scary headlines say. After that, we'll uncover the real reason this information is so powerful. It's not about diagnosing yourself. It's about giving you the language to have a more productive, more meaningful conversation with your doctor. And finally, because knowledge without action is just trivia, I'll give you a few simple, safe exercises you can start doing today to improve your scores and, more importantly, to improve your stability and strength for the years to come. So, if you've ever felt overwhelmed by health advice or anxious before a checkup, this is for you. We're going to turn that uncertainty into confidence. And a quick but important reminder, I'm not a doctor, and the information in this video is for educational purposes. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. These tests are meant to be tools for understanding and for discussion with your healthcare provider. If you have any concerns about your balance or strength, or if you feel unsafe performing these tests, please hold off and consult your physician or a physical therapist first. Your safety is always the #1 priority. All right, let's begin with the first test. This is the one that has generated so much buzz online, often called the 10-second longevity test. We're going to call it by its proper name, the single-leg stance test. The purpose of this test isn't to measure how long you have left, it's to measure your static balance. Think about all the moments in a day when you are momentarily on one foot, stepping into a bathtub, climbing a curb, putting on a pair of pants, or catching yourself from a trip. Each of these moments requires your body to maintain its center of gravity over a single point of contact. It's a complex dance between your muscles, your nerves, and the balance system in your inner ear. When that system is working well, you don't even think about it. But when it starts to decline, it can become a major risk factor for falls, which, as we know, are a serious threat to our independence. A landmark study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine is what sparked all those headlines. Researchers followed a group of adults aged 51 to 75 for an average of 7 years. They found that those who could not complete a 10-second single-leg stance were significantly more likely to have passed away during the study period. But here's the critical distinction the researchers themselves made, which the headlines conveniently ignored. The test wasn't causing the outcome, it was an indicator of overall health. A person unable to balance might have underlying conditions, neurological issues, severe muscle weakness, inner ear problems that contribute to both poor balance and poorer overall health. So the test isn't a verdict. It's a vital sign, just like your blood pressure or your heart rate. It's a clue that your body's interconnected systems might need some attention. So how do you do it? It's very simple, but safety comes first. I recommend standing next to a sturdy kitchen counter or the back of a solid chair, something you can grab onto if you feel wobbly. Don't hold on to it to start. Just have it there for security. Stand with your feet together and pick a spot on the wall in front of you to focus on. When you're ready, lift one foot off the floor, bending the knee so your raised foot is somewhere behind you, near the ankle of your standing leg. The goal is to do this without your arms flailing, without your standing foot hopping around, and without your raised foot touching the ground or your other leg for support. Start a timer or count in your head, 1,000, 1,000, and see how long you can hold it. The goal isn't just 10 seconds. For a healthy adult, the target is actually closer to 30 seconds. Try it on both legs, because it's common to have one side that's a bit more stable than the other. If you can hold it for 30 seconds, that's fantastic. If you can only hold it for 15 or 5 or even 2 seconds, that is not a reason to panic. It is simply a piece of information. It's your starting point. You've just taken a snapshot of your static balance, and now you have a baseline. Now, while static balance is crucial for those moments of stillness, our lives are in constant motion. We don't just stand. We sit, we stand up, we climb stairs, we get out of cars. This requires a different kind of strength, a functional strength that powers our daily movements. This brings us to our second 30-second test, one that physical therapists and geriatric specialists have been using for decades. It's called the 30-second chair stand test, or the sit-to-stand test. If the single-leg stance is a snapshot of your balance system, think of the chair stand test as a measure of your body's engine, your lower body strength and endurance. The powerful muscles in your legs and glutes are what propel you through life. They're what allow you to get up from your favorite armchair without pushing off with your hands, to play with your grandkids on the floor and get back up again, and to carry a bag of groceries up a flight of stairs. When this strength begins to fade, we start to compensate. We use our arms more. We look for things to lean on. We avoid low couches. It's a subtle change, but it's a direct predictor of future mobility and independence. I remember watching my own grandmother, a wonderfully stubborn woman, who started having trouble getting out of her beloved soft dining room chairs. At first, she'd just push off the table a little. Then, she started asking for help. It wasn't a big dramatic event, but it was a quiet signal that her functional strength was declining, making her world a little bit smaller. This test gives you a concrete way to measure that exact function. Here's how you do it. You'll need a standard, straight-back dining chair without armrests. Make sure it's placed firmly against a wall so it won't slide. Sit in the middle of the chair with your feet flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart. Now, cross your arms over your chest with your hands touching your shoulders. This is important because it prevents you from using your arms to push off. From this seated position, on the count of go, you will stand up completely straight and then sit back down completely. That is one repetition. The goal is to do as many full repetitions as you can in 30 seconds. So what's a good score? According to the standards used by physical therapists, the average number of repetitions varies by age. For example, for men and women between 65 and 69, the average is around 11 to 18 repetitions. For those 80 to 84, the average might be closer to 8 to 14. But please, do not get fixated on these numbers. They are just population averages. The real value is your number. Your score today is your personal benchmark. It's not about comparing yourself to a chart. It's about understanding your own current capacity. If you could only do 5, that is perfectly okay. That is valuable information that you did not have yesterday. You've just measured the horsepower of your body's engine. Now we have two pieces of data. We have a number for your balance and a number for your lower body strength. And this is where we come to the most important part of our conversation today. What do these numbers actually mean? This is where we directly confront the hype and replace fear with clarity. A poor score on either of these tests does not, I repeat, does not predict your future. It doesn't stamp an expiration date on your life. What it does is act like a check engine light on your car's dashboard. When your car's check engine light comes on, you don't panic and sell the car. You don't assume the entire engine is about to explode. You see it as a signal. It's a non-specific alert telling you that one of the car's many interconnected systems needs attention. Maybe it's a loose gas cap, maybe it's a faulty sensor, or maybe it's something more significant. You don't know until you or a mechanic investigate further. A poor score on the balance test or the chair stand test is exactly the same. It's your body's check engine light for your functional health. It's a red flag. As a geriatric specialist from the Cleveland Clinic so wisely put it, it's telling you that the systems responsible for your stability and strength might be running a little rough. The problem could be muscle weakness. It could be an issue with the vestibular system in your inner ear. It could be related to nerve communication or even a side effect from a medication. The score itself doesn't tell you the cause, but it tells you with beautiful clarity that it's time to look under the hood. This is a critical concept in science called association, not causation. The inability to balance is associated with a higher risk of mortality, but it does not cause it. The underlying issues that cause the poor balance are what contribute to the overall health risk. This is an empowering distinction. You can't change a prophecy, but you can absolutely respond to a check engine light. You can take action, and this completely reframes the purpose of these tests. They are not scary predictors of doom. They are magnificent early warning signals that give you the opportunity to intervene, to get stronger, to improve your balance, and to prevent the one thing that truly threatens our independence: a fall. The fear of falling itself is a powerful force. A surprising and telling statistic reveals that a person's fear of falling can actually increase their real risk of falling by up to 60%. It creates a vicious cycle. You feel a little unsteady, so you become anxious about moving. Because you're anxious, you move less. Because you move less, your muscles get weaker, and your balance worsens. These simple tests are a way to break that cycle. They replace a vague fear with a concrete fact. I feel wobbly is a fearful thought. I can stand on my left leg for 6 seconds is a piece of data. And data is something you can work with. This leads us to the real heart of the matter. The reason your doctor wishes you knew this information before your physical. It's all about communication. Think about a typical doctor's visit. It's often short, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. In that time, your doctor has to review your chart, check your vitals, ask about any new issues, discuss medications, and provide guidance. Often, we go in with vague complaints. We say things like, I just feel like I'm slowing down, or I'm a bit more tired lately, or I don't feel as steady on my feet. These are valid feelings, but they are subjective. They don't give your doctor a lot of specific information to work with. Now, imagine a different scenario. Imagine walking into your physical and having a conversation that sounds like this. Doctor, I've been monitoring my functional health at home. I tried the 30-second sit-to-stand test last week, and I was able to do 9 repetitions. I tried it again this week, and it was still 9. I also noticed that I can balance on my right leg for about 15 seconds, but only for about 5 seconds on my left leg. Do you see the difference? You've just gone from a vague feeling to a specific, objective, and measurable observation. You have given your doctor concrete data. This is incredibly valuable. It helps them pinpoint what to investigate. A significant difference between your left and right leg balance might prompt them to check for neurological issues or perhaps an orthopedic problem in your hip or knee on the weaker side. A low score on the chair stand test might lead them to recommend a physical therapy consultation or screen for conditions that cause muscle weakness. You are no longer just a passive recipient of care. You become an active partner in your own healthcare. You are a data collector, a member of your own health team. It takes the pressure off you to have the right answers and off the doctor to guess what you mean by feeling wobbly. So, you've done the tests. You have your numbers. You've made a note to discuss them with your doctor. Now what? This is the best part. This is where we take action and turn information into improvement. You can actively work to improve your scores, and by doing so, you are directly improving your body's resilience and reducing your risk of a fall. The first exercise directly targets the skill of the single leg stance. It's simply practicing that exact motion. Stand behind your sturdy kitchen counter or chair, holding on lightly for support. Lift one leg off the floor and hold it for 10 seconds. Then, switch to the other leg. As you get more comfortable, try holding on with just one hand. Then, maybe just one finger. The goal is to gradually progress to the point where you can do it without holding on at all. You can even make it a habit while you're doing other things. Try standing on one leg for a few seconds while you're waiting for the microwave, or while you're brushing your teeth, always with something sturdy nearby to grab. Of course, the second exercise is a wonderful way to build lower body strength for that chair stand test. It's called a heel-to-toe walk. Imagine you're walking on a tightrope. Place the heel of one foot directly in front of the toe of the other foot so they are touching or almost touching. Take a step, then another, walking in a straight line for about 10 or 20 steps. And finally, to directly build the strength needed for the sit-to-stand test, you can practice the motion itself, but in a controlled way. This is called a chair squat. Stand in front of your sturdy dining chair, with your feet shoulder-width apart and your arms out in front of you for balance. Slowly lower yourself down as if you are about to sit, but stop just before your body touches the chair. As we bring our time together to a close, I want to circle back to that feeling we talked about at the beginning, that knot of anxiety in the doctor's office. My hope is that our conversation today has helped to loosen that knot, to replace it with a sense of purpose and control. We started by looking at a scary headline, and we dismantled it. We learned that the so-called longevity test is not a prediction, but a powerful indicator, a check engine light for our functional health. We walked through how to perform 2 simple 30-second assessments: the single leg stance to measure your balance, and the chair stand to measure your strength. We discovered that the true power of these tests isn't in the score itself, but in how you use it. It's a tool to transform a vague worry into concrete data, enabling you to have a smarter, more productive conversation with your doctor. And most importantly, we learned that you are not a bystander in this process. With simple, consistent exercises, you can actively improve your balance and strength, directly impacting your safety and your ability to live a full, independent life. The secret here isn't some magic test. The secret is realizing that you have the power to monitor your body, to understand its signals, and to be a confident, knowledgeable partner in your own healthcare. You've moved from a place of health anxiety to one of true health empowerment. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which part of our discussion today was the biggest aha moment for you? Was it reframing the balance test as a check engine light? Or perhaps the idea of using these scores to communicate more effectively with your doctor? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Be well, stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next video.